I'm a mercenary for hire, and every day I'm sent out to hunt zombies in this wasteland. I've killed over 1.5 million to date, and I'm not even in the top 5 rankings. It ain't much, but it's an honest living, and I'd be happy to show you the ropes. My name's Graeldon, and I'm reviewing the Steam games in alphabetical order to find the hidden gems among the piles of garbage. And today's game is 1 million zombies. Let's begin. People from New Zealand, affectionately called Kiwis, are some incredibly ingenious and inventive people, being credited with things such as bungee cords, jet skis, disposable syringes, and tranquilizer guns. They've also produced some great video games such as Bloons, DayZ, Mini Metro, Polybridge, Path of Exile, and now 1 million zombies. But will this offering from chubby Kiwi Games in 2023 be able to stand on the podium with these other high achievers? Well, from a technological standpoint, I'd have to say yes, because I have no clue how they've managed to cram more than 50,000 zombies into a single level, all with basic AI, real-time shadows and physics, and still have the game run at a smooth 60 FPS while recording in 4K. I'm sure there's some kind of tech wizardry going on behind the scenes here, but you have to admit it looks pretty impressive despite the simplistic graphical style, which I'm sure is a necessity for getting the game to run as well as it does. But anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's rewind and start with a look at the main menu, which is, quite frankly, a mess. We'll also see later that this carries over into the in-game UI as well, where a similar layout is used. Everything is relatively clearly displayed, but it feels visually busy to look at. The panels on the left-hand side are arranged in a comic book style with different backgrounds that relate to the context of the menu item, which is nice, but the bulk of the screen is actually taken up with a display of all the vehicles that are available. We'll come back to this in a moment, but let's first take a peek at the options menu. This is laid out in a similar style, and again, while it's visually busy, it's at least pretty serviceable with a range of video settings, 4 different comic render styles, rebindable controls for both gamepads and keyboard and mouse, but it is a bit odd to see the audio sliders in the language section. While we're here, let's take a look at the story, which I appreciate is actually completely optional, so that anyone that just wants to get straight to the vehicular carnage absolutely can. Now, coming back to the main menu, the reason I think this feels a bit off is because in this game, your vehicle is basically your character and will determine your weapon loadout, speed, steering, etc. So the bulk of the screen is taken up with showing the vehicles, even though there is a separate vehicle selection menu on the left that will do the same thing. It's also a bit odd that your vehicle is selected separately to your level selection. I would normally expect to select one followed by the other, but here they are in separate flows, meaning it's very easy to jump into a level having forgotten to select a vehicle that you just unlocked and wanted to try out. Speaking of trying out vehicles, let's look at some actual gameplay, shall we? In the beginning, you only have access to one level, Coastal Carnage, but there are 8 levels in total, each with different themes like a farm, a golf course, a nuclear power plant, and even a secret army base in the desert. With all the zombies around, I wouldn't recommend trying to Naruto run into that one. Each level also has 3 different game modes. Each revolves around killing as many zombies as possible, with the first tasking you to reach a set total as quickly as possible, the second asking you to kill every single zombie in that level, and the last tasking you with racking up as many kills as possible within a 10-minute time limit. I personally found the first mode to be the most enjoyable as it allows for quick rounds. Using the first level as an example, you will need to kill 30,000 zombies, which when faced with the unending horde in front of you may seem like a drop in the bucket, and one thing this game does really well is helping to visualize the enormity of large numbers. As I make my way through the zombie-infested beach that is an accurate representation of Australia's Bondi Beach in the peak of summer, it's actually fascinating to notice how slowly the numbers go up, and realizing that the level actually has just under 100,000 in total. Meaning to kill 1 million zombies, we'd need to clear out this entire area 10 times over. With a bit of practice, hitting the 30,000 target takes only a few minutes at most, thanks to the arsenal of weapons the truck is equipped with. Miniguns at the front mow down everything in the path, flamethrowers on the side to blaze a trail, and a mounted rocket launcher helps to thin the masses. All of your ammunition is tracked on the right side of the screen, which I actually found to be a bit awkward. I would have preferred a horizontal line across the top, and the pictures here just feel completely unnecessary, taking up more UI space than needed. The fact that they aren't even all the same size irks me slightly too. The camera has a smaller box despite it being a longer word than drone. Shields and health are also tracked here, and I found this to be a weird setup. For anyone remotely familiar with games, you would expect shields to be a first line of defense that regenerates automatically if you go for a few seconds without being hit. That's how they work in games like Halo, Mass Effect, and Borderlands, but for some reason, that's not the case here. Shields and health are basically just two separate health pools, and there were even times that my vehicle's health was damaged before the shields went down. To regenerate health or ammo, you'll need to collect supply crates that are dropped at timed intervals, otherwise you may find yourself left defenseless, and ramming headfirst into too many zombies turns out to not be great for you. Each level also has side goals to complete, such as destroying a set number of environmental objects or completing a specific driving challenge like jumping over a shark. For those with keen eyes, there is also a new vehicle hidden in each level, making exploration and slowing down a bit worthwhile. Further levels are unlocked by completing a set kill count, but strangely these aren't tied to the Kill X missions on the previous level, sometimes requiring you to complete a mission multiple times in order to progress. For example, level 2 requires 100,000 kills, but the first mission only tasks you with killing 30,000. Unfortunately, the majority of levels play out in a very similar fashion to the first, with no real developments in level design, enemy layout, or overall challenge. Realistically, the only things that change are your kill count targets. So to make up the kill count difference and progress, I decided to try the Kill All Zombies mode, and oh boy, I do not recommend this. What started out as silly fun quickly turned into an exercise in tedium and repetitiveness. It doesn't take long before you're just doing laps around the map, and it becomes apparent that many of your weapons are actually a bit useless once the horde begins to thin out. It will also give you enough time to realise that the driving controls are kind of wonky, with the vehicles feeling incredibly light and slippery, with simple acts like trying to perform a U-turn somehow ending with the truck rolling backwards, like it has too much momentum and not enough acceleration. Adding to this is the music, which cycles through appropriately themed heavy metal songs, which unfortunately becomes soul draining as you hear the same one play for the umpteenth time, due to there only being 5 or 6 tracks present at most. All of this is to say that the zombie slaughterfest that I signed up for turned into a 45-minute long slog that felt like I was picking up trash from a beach after a big festival. Suffice to say, I'd never touched that particular game mode again. Coming back to the unlockable cars, I was hoping for these to be the saving grace of the game, providing much needed variety and allowing for experimentation with different playstyles. Once again though, the persistent undead menace that is disappointment clawed its way back when I realised that while the vehicle designs are great, the weapon variety was anything but. Don't get me wrong, I love the creativity of the designs. The prison bus, ice cream van, golf cart and tractor are all great, but functionally, a lot of them are the same. Left click shoots forwards, right click shoots to the sides, and middle click fires a scatter shot. There are a few exceptions, like the lasers on the ambulance or the wrecking ball on the ute, but these should have been the norm rather than the exception in a game that focuses on using vehicles for 99.99% of the gameplay loop. Upon finishing the mission for the final level and reaching the titular 1 million kill count, I was surprised to find that my reward was nothing. Well, technically not nothing, I did get a Steam achievement, but that's Steam, not the game. Each level does have a separate high score leaderboard for each mode and for each vehicle, as well as an overall kill count on the main menu, so there's some replayability on offer for those with a competitive streak. Personally, I made sure to collect every vehicle, including the one in the final area, because surely an experimental weapon from a secret government military base has to be the best one in the game, right? Right? Wrong. I tried it and my favourite one, the dune buggy, out on the same level. Experimental weapon with lasers, railguns, missiles and robodogs? 2 minutes 58 to kill 50,000 zombies. A dune buggy with guns on all sides, a few missiles and a pretty useless shockwave attack? 1 minute 10. More than twice as fast. Which just goes to show that once again, the government always does too little, too late. Suffice to say, Chubby Kiwi Games are unlikely to be making history with 1 million zombies, but that doesn't mean it isn't a decent game. In fact, I'd say it has the foundation for a great one, if the developers had taken the time to polish the final product and invest a bit more time and energy into the core gameplay loop. For example, other than some minor weapon changes, the act of mowing down the hordes of zombies doesn't change much throughout the game. We play as mercenaries, so why aren't we paid? We could use our earnings to purchase upgrades, new vehicles, or even skins. As for the zombies themselves, you may have spotted in the footage that there are some special mini-boss style zombies with health bars. These can be safely ignored unless you're doing the kill all challenge, and other than being a bullet sponge, they don't really do much different. These were a big missed opportunity and really needed to be expanded upon. There's also a distinct lack of aggression from the zombies in response to your efforts, and situational events like zombie reinforcements, increased aggression, or even fleeing zombies would shake up the gameplay loop. This is especially needed on the kill all challenges when the tedium sets in towards the end, trying to track down the last few remaining zombies. It would be awesome if their aggression radius increased so that they tried to work together and converge on the player as some kind of last-ditch takedown attempt. And speaking of the zombies, a small change that would make a huge difference to the feel of the game would be giving the zombies unique outfits depending on the map that you're playing. Currently, they are the same zombies no matter the location, which leads to a feeling of blandness, which again isn't helped by the repetitive music. Because of these factors, the game ends up feeling like a single great idea with several reskinned maps and vehicles, and once you're aware of this, it's hard to overlook it. Thankfully, the devs have included several unique mini-games, and these are unlocked by finding a hidden coin in each level. Sadly, these are more janky than the rest of the game. They are worth a look, but are ultimately let down by the lack of any reward other than bragging rights on a leaderboard. Now, you might understandably be thinking that I dislike this game, but that isn't the case. I've been a bit tough on it, simply because I think the game and the devs have potential and I want to see more and better things from them in the future. There's also a solid gameplay loop here, and even with everything going on, I only experienced a couple of bugs during my roughly 3-hour playtime. It becomes a bit tougher to recommend when you take the $12.99 Canadian price point into consideration, but if this type of game is up your alley, it might be worth picking it up while it's on sale, which coincidentally happens to be at the time of writing. So, with everything in mind, my final rating for 1 Million Zombies is Claw of Doom out of 10. It's a bit clunky and it only does one thing, but if you happen to like that thing, then you're in for a treat. Thanks for watching. Welcome to the end of the video. A massive thank you to all the channel members on screen for supporting the channel, with a special thank you to our 2 Knights of the Holy Grail, Freaky Feline and Loveheart Gonzi. If you'd like to join this gaming crusade, you can check out the membership options below for more details. You'll also find a link to some channel stats in our Discord too. And lastly, I want to thank you for joining me on this weird gaming adventure through the depths of Steam, and if you made it this far, here's a sneak peek of the next game. So until next time, take care.